Good morning, good evening, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you might be doing. We wish to welcome you to the Silverlight Show. The Silverlight shines to illuminate that which lies hidden in darkness. For those of you tuning in today, we welcome you in. I was out yesterday and the day before with the family, straightening things up, cutting the grass, trimming the bushes, that kind of thing. And then it occurred to me how pointless it all is. Of course, humans are driven to control nature. We want to control waterways, so we build dams. We want to get power, so we build wind farms. You know what I mean, windmills. But when it comes to the space in front of our home, we're obsessive about it. That makes no sense. For example, I spent the last couple days trimming the bushes. Now, I'm no gardener. At the same token, you can kind of see what I did. My neighbor apparently doesn't give two flying fadoos. Now, the only reason I shape the trees is because I'm 6'3" and I'm the only one that can reach them. My neighbor on the one side used to cut his like a Tetris piece. It looked horrible. And my interest in that was just to restore it to a nice round shape. But as you saw, my neighbor has those, I guess they're spruces. He's just letting them grow. Every year I cut mine to the same length, not because I'm trying to make them all grow uniformly, but because I'm trying to make sure that they branch out. And that's a little bit of conceit on my part. You can see half the hedges around here are not trimmed, but there's those people that not only are obsessed with lawn care, they're willing to hire people to come and spray expensive chemicals, the same chemicals that if they sprayed them on you by accident, you would sue them for millions of dollars. They have people, crews, that come out and mow the grass. Yeah, now, I understand if you're an older person and you can't get around as much. There's certain places, homeowners associations and stuff like that, where you have to keep your grass a certain length. I'm not going to go into that at the present time because that's situational. But as a general rule, most people have to follow a city ordinance that's usually pretty generous, no more than 6 inches. But we still have this desire to make our house look slightly better than the person next to us. It's an unnecessary bit of competition. So why do we do it? Well, I imagine back in prehistoric times when humans were starting to make homes and not live in caves, they'd spruce up their homes a little. I imagine the white stone walkway probably appeared pretty early on in human civilization. Looks nice, it's functional, and it doesn't really take a whole lot of effort, especially if you have any sort of food surplus. And of course, Og and Ugg turned to each other and said, looks good. Let me make my own. And then they tried to find some white stones, and maybe they found some yellow stones and granite and whatever the heck else that they were working with at the time. Maybe they were placing leaves and bushes and just stuff to make their place stand out. Because, zoning wasn't a thing back then. So probably very on, the idea of decorating your home became the vogue. I'd say right now it's probably programmed into us. The question is, how do we do it? My neighbor with the shaggy fence that I just showed you actually has an extremely nice home. His grass, can't see it, and I'm not even going to try to get you a shot of it. His grass is perfect. And speaking of which, why did we decide on grass? Like, grass is a weed. And even 150 years ago, grass was considered an invasive species. They didn't have the terminology for that back then. They just hated it, and they would spend a lot of time making sure grass didn't get established because they wanted perfect rows of roses and posies. Look at some films that are representing the time, and you'll notice that they were really big into hedge mazes and stuff like that. They wanted to show off their wealth. What I've been trying to do for the past couple of years, not successfully, is to get a moss garden growing. Number one reason is I don't want to cut this crap anymore. The second reason is it's natural moss to the area, so it's probably going to grow better. And the most important reason, just because I want to see what it looks like and make my own choice about whether I want to keep it or not. I've studied a couple ways. I've planted some moss. I've done all sorts of things that I've never gotten it working. Probably because I never had a green thumb to begin with. I am the Darth Vader of the plant kingdom. But it shows I'm still trying to modify my little section of the environment to be what I want it to be. I probably should have filmed this downstairs because we used to have a tree, and unlike the tree that we're looking right now, this tree was a giant evergreen. And I used to call it the blockbuster, because if the thing had ever fallen, it was guaranteed to take at least 3 houses out. So, for safety reasons, I had to have it removed. That's what I put on the application to have it removed anyway. And now I've turned it into a table, a nice table, one where you can work on, or one you can actually sit out there and enjoy your choice of beverage, whether it be, something sparkling, whether it be something alcoholic or something caffeinated. Whatever, your choice is your choice. It's just a neat idea. I had a bit of plywood, put it down, and it's actually prevented that tree from putting out what my father calls suckers, which is this sprouts from the tree trying to find another way to get back to work. Well, that's nature at work. And it used to be that they would have poisons for that. Well, in my particular county, in my particular region, they've banned them because people are dumb. And this is a poison, and it's a potential explosive, and most people buy it for getting rid of stumps and stuff like that. There's a few that, how do we say this in the most polite way possible? They just want to watch the world burn. That's what gardening is. We still have slash and burn agriculture, which means people literally slash a place apart, burn what they have down, and then that makes the field plantable for the next 4 or 5 seasons, and then they move on, slash the next part, and burn it. And that's their way of life. These are not wealthy people. There's very few wealthy farmers, unless you're a conglomerate, or unless your family managed to buy that plot back in the 1780s and you've been living off of it ever since. Other than that, most farmers get by government subsidies and the banks being forced to loan them at a special rate. That's really a scam all to itself. I think I covered it, but if not, maybe that's what I'll do tomorrow. We can't give up this idea that we are masters of our area. If you notice, the hedge that I showed you on my side, I've done my half to the best of my ability. It's not perfect, but at the same token, I'm still making the thing recover from the Tetris formation. But if you notice, my neighbors haven't even looked at it yet. They were the Tetris people. And quite frankly, it doesn't bother me. If I really wanted to, I could hop around the side and cut it, and I'm sure they'd be appreciative, but the same token, I have enough work on my plate. I like the neighbor, he's a nice person. My neighbors are fantastic. But the truth is, he's not as tall as I am, and me reaching 3/4 of the way over is as far as that I'm going with the power tool, especially one that can take fingers and decide that they are now fertilizer. Oh, that's the other thing. The machines that we use. In 2023, we're getting more towards, battery-operated stuff, but there's still quite a few machines out there that people use, say a lawnmower. Well, my lawnmower is an electric lawnmower. It plugs in because I prefer having a plug because I don't need to worry about, damn, I didn't charge the damn thing. You press the green button down, then you pull the throttle, and then the lawnmower starts up. Right? Makes sense that there's an extra bit of safety in there because I don't want to know how many idiots are too stupid to unplug the lawnmower before they start sharpening the blade, taking things apart, trying to dig things out of there. And it's such a simple step. There's no real studies on this that I can find, but it would be interesting to find out how many accidents happen just through yard work because weed whackers, they can give you a lot of pain, especially if somebody decides they want the big professional ones. And that's the thing I don't understand. You can see our lot sizes are not gigantic. We have a few people here that want to buy the biggest lawnmower possible. For those who ever managed to watch Richard Pryor's Moving, you may remember the twin brothers that, mowed their tiny strip of lawn with the exact same equipment that they used to take care of golf courses. And Richard Pryor wasn't making that up out of his head. He saw it going on everywhere around him, that there's bigger houses than mine, a lot bigger houses. And then maybe you need a ride on or something, but for this tiny thing, we even have the push mower. But that's not enough for some people. They want to be able to sit there and ride around and do whatever you like. I know there's a significant, but not dramatic, number of people that catch drunks every year, and the police catch them driving under the influence because they thought that their lawn tractor wouldn't count as a motorized vehicle. Yes, this is a real thing. Go check if you don't believe me. No matter what, though, we need to learn to loosen up on our grip. Nature's nature, and I hope it always is. But as you can see in this area, everybody has their own idea of what nature should be. And it shows in the different houses. With that, we hope you enjoyed this episode of the Silverlight Show. If you did, please hit like, subscribe, share. Although share doesn't really exist anymore, but the notification buttons does. And we hope you have a fantastic day.